What's up, traders? This is Matt with Conservative Trades. And for those of you who were in the live stream today, you're probably pleasantly surprised to see that I am actually ending the day up $161.63. So I think when we left off, I was only up like $5, right? And for those of you who were not with us in the live stream, or if you guys are just kind of passing through, or you're new to the channel, I'll just tell you that this week has been a rough week for me. It really has. I have not done very well. We've had a few good days. Obviously, I mean, today we're ending up, and not yesterday. The day before yesterday was a small red day. The day before, we made about, I don't know, $250 some, and the day before that was basically break even. And Monday was horrible. And Monday is pretty much the catalyst. What kind of sent me into a bit of a rough week this week. And the month of May for me was a really great month. There were only like 3 or 4 red days in May. The rest of those days were green. Packed on a lot of profits for the month of May. And I just came into June, on Monday of this week with just way too overconfident and really just. I really, honestly, I can't, I don't know if I can fully put it into words. And for those of you who have been trading long enough, you know what this is. You know what it is when you're confident, you're doing really well, you're making good money. And then all of a sudden, you just kind of come into the markets with, a little bit too much confidence, and almost kind of get cocky, and then the market slaps you in the face, and then you remember, like, oh yeah, I'm not the man. Okay, so that was kind of where I was at this week. It just kind of the market reminding me, you're not the man. Like, yeah, sure, you can have a whole month in the green and only be red like 3 days out of the whole month, but guess what? You're not the man, and you need to always come into the markets with a healthy, sobering perspective. Sticking to your plan, having a strategy, and just trading according to that. But sometimes we get excited, and especially when we're packing on a lot of profits and we're doing really well in the markets, and then we have a really nice big cushion built up. Sometimes we just get excited, and we get a little greedy, and we FOMO into trades, because we think to ourselves, okay, we're really starting to take off now, and man, this trade could do this trade could do that, man. I could really start packing on some major profits this month, and even though I think that should be a healthy, there should be a healthy, hopeful expectation of that, I think focusing on it too much really can just work against you. And coming into the market and just kind of being sloppy about it is the other thing. I came into the market on a couple of occasions this week just totally unprepared, and so anyway, here's the thing, guys. I will get to the trades. I do want to answer a question real quick. A lot of you guys wonder, because I sit here and I tell you what I made, but then I always like to, well, I guess not always, but in a lot of the videos, I try to be very transparent with what I actually made after fees and commissions. And so I get this question asked a lot. So let me just go ahead and, say for the record, I'm with Lightspeed. Okay. They're, Lime Brokerage, and Lightspeed Trader is the platform that I use here. And it's roughly $1 per trade for me. It's roughly $1 per trade plus, routing fees, what have you. So, now that's of course when I'm trading with small share size, which the name of this channel is Conservative Trades. You can see here on the order book. Most of my trades are, 100, 200 shares. I mean, you might, look even down here, 75, 25, 12, 3. 50. I'm usually trading with very small share size, but every now and then, like you'll see here on LK, it's a $6 stock. I took 400 shares on that, and I would even take 1,000 shares on a $6 stock. That's pretty conservative for a stock that is moving a lot slower, and it's a lower priced stock. But the channel is called Conservative Trades, and so because I'm typically only trading with 100 to 200 shares at a time, it's going to be roughly $1 a trade. And anything over, like, I think 222 shares, it's basically measured at 0.005 cents per share. So, a 400, and here, if we just get out the calculator. So when I took this trade with 400 shares times 0.0045 equals, that cost me $1.80. That trade right there, when I took that trade, when I bought that 400 shares, that cost me $1.80. So, anyway, so hopefully that answers your questions. but yeah, I think it's a great commission structure, but I do go through a lot of tickets sometimes. Now, there's a lot of days, most days I really don't go past 30, 40, maybe 50 tickets on average. But there's some days like today where, I'm racking up 60, 70, maybe even 80 tickets. There could be 80 tickets in there. So which means that essentially, after fees and commissions, I'm really only ending the day up, $80. So, and if you take into consideration the ECN fees, I mean the routing fees, they're very very minimal. I mean, we're talking maybe an additional $10 on top of that. So, again, just very few shares, and that's one of the great things about trading with smaller share size. So anyway, like I said, I do want to talk about the trades today, but to be quite honest with you, these trades, it's going to be really hard to break these down for you because these were not clean trades. A lot of what you see here was scalping trades. And here's why: because the red trades, these two big red moves you see here were just dumb. They were just dumb. Okay, and that's all I can really say about it. All right, I did not trade them well, and they were kind of boneheaded moves. And I think that's ultimately the other thing that I wanted to mention about this week. This week, and probably because of the way that things started out on Monday, but I just made a lot of boneheaded moves. I keep using that word boneheaded because, they were really just dumb. They really were. This week, it's, I can't even explain it. It's almost just like I just kind of got into this emotional whirlwind and just made a lot of boneheaded moves. And there were some hotkey errors, and there were some accidental orders taken way before they should have been. And, even like yesterday should have easily been a $200 to $300 day. But I made some stupid mistake of putting some order in, and then, I forgot to remove that order and put it further away, because it looked like we were going to get a really nice move out of the rest of those shares. And anyway, guys, just all week long, it's just been a lot of just boneheaded moves. And today was no exception. So UAL, this is the first one that I'll talk about. UAL is a trade I started taking in pre-market. Okay. And I don't know why. I don't know why I started taking this trade right here in pre-market, but I took it and I got out some of my shares here. And then when it came up here, I went short again. Let me see. Let me make sure I know what I'm talking about here. Where were we? So we were 46. I'm trying to remember what does the order book say? Oh, I got it. First of all, that was my first mistake. I sized in with 200 shares. Okay. Now, yes, we were overextended, and I thought we could at least get just a really quick move back to these levels here, and that would have been, that would have been a quick $60. But knowing that it could have still had a major run up after that, if I had only put in 100 shares here, I easily would have added up here another 100 shares, and then I would have been able to get out on this pullback. And then here, you can see I called the top perfectly, and I think that might have been, I might have been playing off of another level. Maybe it was a daily level. Why did I call the top there? Usually when I call the top, there's a reason why I called the top. So is it 49? Oh, well, okay. So there were two reasons why I called the top. Number one, we were running into some what could be taken as resistance here, but also we were getting up to that $50 psychological whole number, and that can oftentimes be a that can oftentimes act as an area of resistance, at least temporarily. But you see, I got back in here at, where were we? UAL at 47.45. Okay, and then for some reason I bought at, wait, hold on, let me see. No, excuse me, 49.62. I went short another 100 shares. And then I went ahead and bought them back on the pullback. I don't know why. I just didn't let it work out. Well, I do know why. It was pre-market. And pre-market, I thought to myself, this can just continue to make some irrational pre-market move. And, things move a lot slower in pre-market. But the reason why I say it's boneheaded is, number one, I went in, I started with 200 shares. That's just dumb. That's dumb. Typically on a stock like this, I would start with 100 shares, and every dollar up, or maybe even $1.50, I would add another 100 and add another 100. And I would give myself up to maybe 400 or 500 shares at some point. And again, now you have to know the stock. There are a lot of stocks out there that will not give you pullbacks, but UAL gives plenty of pullbacks. Okay, it's a stock that I've watched many, many times. So that's key. First of all, I wouldn't just come in here and start doing this on any stock. Plus, we had previous areas of what could be resistance. Again, approaching, getting up, to a whole number. We were just breaking up through this 100-day moving average, and it was already overextended. That's the other thing. Look, this had come up. It had opened here at roughly $42. Okay, and it had already made like a $5 move. So I didn't even begin taking this until it was already extended all the way up here. So then if I had had another ad here, maybe when it pulled back, I would have gotten out, maybe taken a loss on these shares and then waited to see if we came down. And then if we continued to go up, I would have probably went short again here, where I did go short. And then, would have maybe resolved, waited for the resolution. But also, I should, if it weren't pre-market, because pre-market can make some really, right? It doesn't, you can see here, look at the little amount of volume here. It doesn't take much to push these stocks up. So trading UAL in pre-market, in other words, is different than trading UAL during regular market hours. Okay, and I know this. I know these things. But why did I take it? Well, because it's been one of those weeks, and my emotions have been getting to me. And I saw dollar signs. I saw dollar signs. I mean, I saw an already extended move, and I went ahead and took in 200 shares because I thought we could at least get, like I said, just like a 30 cent pullback, just make a quick 40, 60 bucks to start tacking on to the day. Sometimes I like to do that just because, and one thing I was actually telling somebody in the chat today and during the live stream was, I used to be a boss at trading pre-market. I used to do really well. But here, maybe it's just the market that we're in right now, but my pre-market trades have not been going as well, and I should take that as a sign. And I've talked about this before, and there was a time where I said, okay, no more pre-market moves unless I just see like an A++ quality setup. Now, this was not quite an A++ quality setup, but it is one of those moves where I think it would have been okay to take if I started at, let's say, 50 shares at a time, 50 to 100 shares at a time, every $1 to $1.50 move. And if I could have built up, maybe say 300 shares up to here, up to that $50 mark, and maybe by then it would have been brought up to, let's say, a 48.50 average or something like that. Then this could have been a great move. And I could have gotten out some of my shares here, and then even when it came back, I might have even added at a spot like this, and then just been ready to get out if it started surging at the market open. But you can see it dropped, it tanked hard too. I mean, this just could have been a great move had I been smarter about it. And but I don't know, guys. I've got a lot of thoughts about this week, and it's good that we're going into the weekend because it's going to give me a lot of time to think about it. Another boneheaded move I made today was on ZM, trading the market open. ZM, look at this. What a chop fest. Here on ZM. Look at all these wicks. And I know better than this. I know that ZM is a chop fest. Why did I do it? Because I saw dollar signs. And I said, man, if it breaks down through all this, man, we're going to get this huge move. It's just been that kind of a week. I've not really been trading from a disciplined perspective. And I feel like I owe it to the viewers and the day traders that come here and check out these videos. I feel like I owe it to you guys that just to talk through the process with you, because this genuinely can be a very difficult career path for those of us who cannot get it together mentally and who cannot get it together emotionally. I tell you what, when it comes to mental discipline and emotional control, I think in most things in life, I think I'm pretty solid. I mean, I really do. And I've often had to tell people, like, I thought I was a patient person until I started day trading. I thought I had my emotions under control until I started day trading. I thought I was a very mentally and emotionally disciplined person until I started day trading. Day trading will reveal things to you about yourself that you never realized. It'll teach you. It'll teach you that however patient or disciplined or controlled of a human being you think you are, you're not. And there's so much more improvement that can be made, but in that process and acknowledging that process and adhering to it and whatnot, you gain enough understanding and you can even have the tools and resources to help you get better. Okay. And you can train yourself. You can work out these muscles, these emotional muscles, these mental muscles. You can work them out. You can get better at them. But even when you get really good at them, they can still come in and eat you alive. I'm sure we all have some of our favorite day trading gurus that we like to watch out there, and we've seen these guys go through some pretty bad losing streaks. Okay, one of the most famous day traders right now, Ross Cameron of Warrior Trading. If you ever follow his channel, now he's a phenomenal trader. And right now he's been on a hot streak. Although I haven't checked out his videos in the last couple of days, but he's last month. I mean, this dude killed it. I think he made more. I think he had his biggest day ever. Dude made like $48,000 in one day, and I think he had his best month ever, like 200 upwards 250 grand last month. So he's really good. Okay, and he's got a phenomenal strategy. But I've seen that guy, even in the last year, go through some pretty bad losing streaks. And that just goes to show you that even when you reach that level, you're still susceptible to these things. Okay? But one thing I do respect about Ross Cameron is he acknowledges it. He acknowledges it. And he works on it. He doesn't blame the market. He doesn't blame, he doesn't blame anybody but himself. He owns it. He owns it. He takes responsibility for his own actions, and he comes into the market the next day trying to do better. Okay. And, and we, again, I'm sure we all have our own, favorite day traders out there that we follow. And I've seen several very good and very well-known day traders go through that sort of thing. And there's even some books you can read, great books out there written by some really long-standing professional day traders who have battled those types of fears and emotions, or greed and fear and just all the various different emotions that come with trading. And especially when you get in a slump, get into a losing streak. And so, I'm saying this stuff not only to encourage myself, but to encourage you, the viewer, the listener here, because I'd like to say, if you had a bad week like me, and if it's just been one of those weeks, even if you're having a bad month, or if you've had a bad several weeks, just reflect, own it. Don't try to justify it. Don't make any justification for it, because all you're doing is continuing to set yourself back. You're never going to learn. You're never going to grow. We've got to learn. We've got to grow. We've got to take full ownership of this. And we have to realize that we are emotional creatures, and, when things aren't going our way, especially when it comes to day trading and being something that we want to do as a career, and whatever your motivation is with it, we can get pretty emotional about it. We can lose it. So anyway, I know this has been a long video, and I hope nonetheless that you guys enjoyed it. And consider subscribing if you're new to the channel. And we do trade live here on the channel Monday through Friday, beginning roughly around 9 a.m. We'd love for you guys to join us. So I hope you all have a great weekend. We're going to come back Monday with a fresh and sobering perspective, and we'll get back at it again. And to those of you who did join us in the chat this week, all the regulars out there, you know who you are. Think you guys are awesome, and looking forward to seeing y'all next week. Have a great weekend. Take care.